Greetings, my excellent friend.
Welcome to Most Excellent Adventure to
Heavy Metal History.
Hello.
How you doing?
Excellent. Does it work?
It
Can you
works.
hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Cool. Cool.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, it's been so long since I've used Skype. I had to re-download it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. It's pretty much the only way to do this kind of stuff for the podcast. But
Yeah.
the good thing is too, if somebody doesn't have Skype, I can just make phone calls over Skype and do it over a phone too. The audio is not as good, but I haven't had any complaints about it, which is nice.
Nice. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Good, man.
Just basically getting ready to play these new songs for Summer Slaughter.
Yes, I bet.
Nice.
Are you guys gonna play the whole album?
Oh, yes. Oh, man. No, we're going to play 3 new songs. So,
Okay.
yeah, we'll have we're going to put out another video next week or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And then we're actually going to film a video after that, another one. So there will be at least 2 videos for the new album, so people should know those songs.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It looks like that the video you guys already put out is on track to hit at least 750,000. It just keeps going up.
Yeah, it's sick. That's that was one of the big reasons we wanted to get Alissa for it, is because we wanted to hit a wider audience, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like it's done that.
That's cool, though. I mean, I know we'll probably get to this in the podcast, but I think the thing that you guys always do is push it forward, and I think that goes a long way, man. Instead of putting out the same record every fucking 2 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, we definitely try and keep people interested. So, we try and keep ourselves interested,
Yeah, that's important too. Holy shit.
I think that really that's what is going on. We're just trying to keep ourselves interested in in writing this music.
What, you mean you don't want to put out Dead in My Arms 5 times over?
Jesus. I listened to, I put on the Carnifex thing on Spotify, Carnifex channel, and a couple of those songs came on from Dead in My Arms. I'm just like, oof. We were really green writing that.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it in a long while, so I'd be curious to go back and revisit it myself and see what it's like. I know that some songs from it get posted every now and then on Reddit on certain things that I follow, and I'm like, oh man, people still love this fucking album.
Yeah, it was. It would have been cool to get the rights, but that shit ain't happening.
Fred was telling me about that, actually. It's fucking crazy what happened.
Yeah. Basically, we're not big enough for Sony to give a shit, so we don't get to buy it.
God, what a fucking nightmare that is.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Heavy Metal History Podcast, my guest today on this episode is drummer of Carnifex, Shawn Cameron. Shawn, thank you for doing the show, buddy.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm glad to be on it.
Yeah, man, this is going to be fun. I don't, whenever this goes out, guys, it's so weird because we were just talking about it, so now I have to re-say this. But the idea is this is Carnifex week, and you were listening to these episodes back to back to back.
Yeah, you binge listening to Carnifex.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you guys have a new album coming out, but before we get to that, the thing that I like to kind of start out with on the podcast, even though it's a cliche question, I have reasons behind it, and it kind of unfolds over the course of the episode. But for you, what were those first records and bands that you remember hearing that got you into heavy metal, that you realized oh shit, this is more in line with what I want to hear versus Yanni or Rush?
Oh man, because I'm old as shit. I go back to, I actually got a hold of a demo tape of Korn.
Oh.
So, back in the early 90s, I'm listening to radio rock, and, Rage Against the Machine is heavy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get this Korn demo, and it had like Ball Tongue and a couple other songs off of their first album. And that was just so heavy to me. So, I jammed Korn for a while, and then somebody gave me the first Slipknot album to listen to, and that just blew my mind, because it was such a good recording compared to most of the extreme metal recordings at the time.
Yeah.
And you could hear all the drums, you could hear everything. Somebody told me they had 3 drummers, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know. And then I got their DVD, and I'm like, no, it's one guy playing all those drums.
That's
the other 2 guys are just percussionists.
That's a good myth. We should perpetuate that again.
Yeah,
Slipknot
totally.
had
Dude,
3
they have
drummers.
3 drummers. But the first the first band that I saw live that really got me like, I want to do this, like this kind of music, is probably Bleeding Through.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I went to Scott was actually, it was before I knew Scott. He was actually at the show. It was Halloween 2003, and it was Bleeding Through was opening up for Throwdown at the Showcase Theater in Riverside in Corona. So that show was absolutely insane, and that was when I was like, this is the kind of music I want to play. It's so sick. So
yeah, you guys are pretty lucky being in that like SoCal metal scene. There's so many good bands, and like it was such a good time for that music around that era. Even going back to what you mentioned about having that Korn demo. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure hearing 7-string guitars for the first time too is probably like what blew your mind about that record, I would assume, because I mean,
yeah, so low. Yeah, trying to tune down my shitty 6-string guitar to A. Doesn't sound at all. The spaghetti strings.
Yeah, that was always the thing that enticed me about those records too, is the way those guitars sounded.
Yeah.
But man, just like Bleeding Through and all those Southern California bands that were around at that time. I mean, that whole scene must have been phenomenal to be a part of.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. There were no rules. The only rule is there is no rules.
Yeah. Man, Bleeding Through and Throwdown. Holy shit. 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the heyday of that era of music too.
Yeah, that was like 2000, probably 3 to 2007-ish, 8.
Yeah, I forget who I was talking to about this, but there was that point in time in that era, where obviously metalcore and deathcore were kind of blowing up, and then after, I don't want to say it died out, but after like the genre started evolving a little more, I guess, you saw bands kind of start to shy away from playing breakdowns less and less, and I'm wondering if it was a case of not so much trend hopping, but like, at that point in time in that era of music, it was such a prevalent thing to want to throw breakdowns in a song that didn't really need it. So what do you think like the I guess reason was that bands started to kind of move away from it and just focus on riffs and melodies as opposed to breakdowns?
Well, there's a few things that I noticed. I noticed that there were a ton of local bands that were trying to do that. So it was just kind of getting saturated. Mm-hmm. So everybody's like, oh yeah, another breakdown band. So it just kind of I think people got bored of it. I also noticed that, let me see. I noticed that a lot of bands were getting labeled deathcore that were not deathcore.
Yeah.
All they did was play breakdowns. It was just one after the other. And I guess that's called more like beatdown stuff now. But yeah, it's like, we've always tried to be death metal with some breakdowns, so we weren't, I mean, we were a pretty big offender on like the Diseased and the Poisoned using breakdowns too much, like albums like that. But you know, I just think that it just got overused, and so bands tried to shy away from, you know, being from the cliche.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with them. I mean, you know, Slayer kind of started it, King Diamond did it, Pantera did it, Sepultura did it. So they were around before, you know, all these bands kind of like you said, saturated it. But I always found it interesting seeing that, I guess, evolution where bands kind of started to be like, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. And in the end, you saw progression in bands, you got a better end product, and a lot of those bands are still around, you guys included. And I always think that was a good decision for a lot of those bands.
We never wanted to stop doing it. We just knew we needed to do it better.
Yeah.
So, you know, we could, you know, because there were so many mediocre, you know, bands that just, you know, they put a lot of the bands just started sounding kind of the same. Mm-hmm. So
I still think that's a little bit prevalent. Like there are definitely bands that still kind of beat that dead horse. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's okay. Like if you want to play, like, I guess for lack of a better word, that throwback sound now, even though it's like less than 10 years old. But I don't know. I feel like that's like playing thrash metal in 2019. It doesn't really hold up that much unless you're Power Trip. That's like the only band I can think of that's done something interesting with thrash metal.
Yeah. I mean, you know, for, you know, certain types of metal at a certain point, you just have to work on writing catchy riffs, mm-hmm. you know, because you know, it's a certain sound and everybody knows what the sound is. So you're not going to get away with, you know, standard thrash metal song or standard deathcore song. Like you gotta write something that people can latch onto.
That is exactly what I look for in music now. Like if I listen to something and that riff is stuck in my head for like 3 or 4 days, I know that person has written a good song. Case in point, the new Dark Throne record, there's a song on there called Hardship of the Scots. That mm-hmm. song has been stuck in my head for, you know, since the record came out. I learned how to play this song. Like that's how catchy that riff is to me. And I was like, damn it. So that worked.
And you know, the bands that influence, or the songs that influence other musicians to start writing or to do stuff, those are usually the catchiest songs.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. So. I think riff writing is such an important part of music. And I think it's probably the most overlooked thing, because a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people in generalizing here, but I think some bands in the scene, you know, depending on what genre, they probably either go more towards like, I guess, groove in some sense, or like an ambiance, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. A lot of bands try and shy away from blast beats and and faster drum stuff.
Yeah, you know, I've noticed that a lot lately. Most of the stuff coming out that I've heard has been very like slower tempoed. I haven't heard like a solid blast beat on a record this year yet.
Well, you're about to, so
I'm sure.
get ready for some Carnifex blast beats, because there are plenty of them.
So it's a good little segue, because I do want to talk to you about your drumming, but also something people don't know is you also play guitar, and you have written riffs on most of the records, which I think we actually talked about that a little bit when we did like that kind of retrospective on Diseased. Mm-hmm. But so you play all kinds of different instruments. Where did your kind of musical bug start? Like, did your family support it, or were you just kind of one day like, I want to play an instrument. I love music. Let's do this.
Well, my dad played guitar. He played like old people guitars. No, yeah, he had like an acoustic guitar, and he would play. My brother learned to play guitar, and he came home one day playing like Green Day songs, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! Show me how to do that." So I started playing that, and then my mom signed me up to play piano. A lot of my sisters took piano lessons.
Damn.
So and then in middle school, I took band and I learned how to play the baritone horn. It's like a tuba except smaller. I think I was like 65 pounds when I was 13 and 14. So that was the only biggest instrument I could wield at the time. So my brother, he played tuba in middle school and stuff. So that was kind of the influence for that. Then me and my brother were playing guitar, and then we could never really find a drummer. So I kind of picked up. I had the twitchy legs, so I picked up playing drums, and eventually got pieced together like a Frankenstein kit, and then
Yeah,
rest is history.
drums are probably the most expensive instrument in
yes,
the whole band.
Yes, they are. Imagine taking your instrument and hitting it with a stick. How long would that last?
Depends on the size of the stick, I guess.
Yeah, right.
That's what
So
she
yeah,
said.
I know. It's just like there's so many parts that always have to get replaced. So
Yeah, how many pieces is your kit right now?
It is I think it's a 7-piece. I had 5 toms, but I got rid of one of the floor toms because I don't feel like setting it up. It's just extra space.
Yeah.
It's extra space on stage that I usually don't have. So,
Are you guys, so not to jump ahead, but real quick, like, are you guys going to be doing your own, because it's like how are they doing Summer Slaughters? Because it's like a triple headliner or a co-headliner, like
every single band will rotate. I'm just
Oh.
kidding. No, it's a set lineup.
Okay.
So none of the headliners are rotating. We're all playing the same amount of time, but
Gotcha.
just in the same order. So it'll be Cataly Cap is playing last, then we play just before them, and then the Faceless plays before us. So
Okay, cool.
So the Faceless will be the first headliner.
So are you guys doing backline and having your own stuff, or are you sharing gear on this?
We I don't know. I think we might share cabs possibly, but who knows? We have a bunch of production that's since we're headlining. So we have a bunch of props and stuff like that going up. So I just know that's the most important thing for us.
Yeah, I think that's been like the biggest change in everything that you guys have done is like having that uniformity with or I don't want to call them costumes, stage outfits.
You could say outfits.
Yes, stage outfits. Yeah, all the stage props. I mean, how did you guys kind of devise this new era, so to speak, of putting all that together?
Well, when we went on our hiatus, Scott kind of took a look at the band as a whole and decided that it was probably better that we weren't just 5 dudes in band t-shirts and jeans or shorts on stage. People are paying money to come see. I mean, obviously you perform your songs, but if we can give them something more, a show, some kind of the imagery that we have on our albums, we pay good money to have artists do some pretty sick imagery.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to bring that. We wanted to bring that into the live show, just to have, give more of an attachment to seeing us play live, because that's really the only thing that sustains the band as a business is playing live and the money that we get from that.
Yeah, and I think adding that extra layer of visibility to the live show makes it more memorable impact. Because from the days of me touring with you guys, you know, it was always like, man, Carnifex sounded great. But now, like, every time I see or hear something, it's like, yo, did you see their show? They're not even talking about hearing you guys. They're talking about, like, watching you guys. And I think it's going over on a whole nother level now, which is cool to see and hear about.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a different, that's why, like on Facebook, when you share a music video as opposed to just sharing an MP3, nobody's going to click on that MP3.
Yeah.
You know, or at least, you know, a fraction of the amount are going to click on the MP3 as opposed to the video. So, you know, we spend, you know, bands spend a lot of money on imagery and music videos and stuff like that. So when we found a way to incorporate that into our live show, that just makes our fans' experience, you know, that much better. And that's really why we do it. So our fans, the people who support us, can have the best experience possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you know, one thing to me personally, like going to shows, like it is always nice seeing when bands like so like not taking themselves seriously, but, you know, put more effort into what they're putting out there.
When they try.
Yeah. You know, cause like I've gone to shows and bands I've seen them like half-ass it on stage. And I'm like, man, people actually care about this shit. Like, this is fucking boring. But you know, when you see a band that's like putting on all this stage production or having stage outfits, like it's fucking cool to see. Like, I don't know. I think it adds something else to it that, you know, I get that also not every band can afford to do that. So it's an extra cost for you guys as well. Yeah,
it is. I mean, and that's the thing. It's we look at it as investing in our band, you know, like that it's an investment, you know, and luckily for us, what we invested in has been paying off. So, you know, it's just like how much do you want your band to succeed?
Yeah, and I mean, especially for you guys, as long as you've been playing now and busting your ass out there on the road, it was about time for that shift to happen. And now, I would assume that Nuclear Blast had a good, I guess, help in that push, because I noticed once you guys got on there, like things changed drastically for you guys.
Well, actually, I mean, Nuclear Blast has been amazing. They actually didn't push us. They haven't pushed us to do anything.
No, I don't mean like make you guys do stuff, but I mean like get you guys out there more, like promote.
No, yeah, absolutely. Nuclear Blast has been an amazing label. They've done things, I mean, which is apparently standard, but that we didn't think labels did, you know, to help us, you know, grow us, put us in front of people. So, you know, they've been super supportive and have helped in, you know, getting us in front of as many people as possible. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I bet Warped Tour was like a huge fucking thing for you guys. That was so crazy.
Warped Tour is pretty sick. We did great.
So here's my question. Knowing how much you guys wear those outfits and sweat your balls off every night, how the fuck do you wash those things?
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, on tour they don't really get washed. So we, you know, after a couple weeks, we start smelling pretty ripe. Oof. But I mean, I have Under Armour stuff that I put on underneath it. Mm-hmm. So that kind of takes the brunt of the stink. and I can switch that out.
God, man.
So, but yeah, we just, you know, when I wash mine, it's just in the cold water, and then I have to hang dry it, otherwise, because I don't want it to deteriorate.
I remember
faster than it already does.
Yeah, that's, man, I remember even back in the day when you guys would just have like your normal stage clothes, and a couple days would go by and you'd pull out the shirt and it was just like rock solid from all the sweat and salt built up on it.
Oh man, yeah. I could stand it up on the sidewalk.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, Todd Junker, he's out of LA. He makes the clothes for us, and he's been amazing. And every time things tear or fall apart, we are able to send him the clothes and he'll fix them or
Nice.
and do all that stuff for us. So it's super cool.
So let's talk about the new album a little bit.
Ooh.
When did you guys kind of start the writing process for it?
Oof.
Because I know you guys do stuff a little differently. You're always kind of writing stuff, as far as I remember. Is that still the case?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've been writing this for probably 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. Like after we put out an album, we all kind of stopped writing because it's pretty stressful and takes a lot of energy. So we kind of take a little break. We all kind of take a little break from it. But yeah, about 6 to 8 months after an album comes out, we'll all, me and Jordan will start writing riffs, Corey will write riffs, and just kind of build up. We'll kind of build up, riffs, bank of riffs we like, and start arranging songs. Once we start getting a song arranged, we'll send it to Scott, and he'll tell us what he likes about it, what he doesn't like. Once we get all that, the song basically arranged, he'll start writing lyrics and stuff. So luckily, it's just kind of like we're always writing, just because we don't write a lot of content in once we get to the studio, like the album's written.
Yeah.
We don't write very much in the studio. The only thing that happens in the studio is things may get changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. But as far as arrangements and stuff like that, like songs are written.
Yeah, I mean, now you guys kind of had that extra, I guess, stress of everybody living in different places. But luckily, technology's caught up enough to where like it's not that much of a problem, because you guys can like send stuff. Whereas like 10 years ago, that would have been fucking brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. 10 years ago, I don't even know if I knew how to record the pre-pro. So.
Yeah, I think actually I remember there was probably like right before Hell Chose Me came out, you had given me like a CD of some of the pre-pro stuff, like really, really rough riffs on there, and it sounded like it was just recorded like over the laptop, basically.
Yeah, it's awful, probably. So yeah, no, we got all that stuff figured out finally. I think Hell Chose Me was the first album that we actually did do pre-pro on, so that that helped a lot.
So with this record, I know over the past couple records you've added more and more of the symphonic element into the music. Mm-hmm. Now, when you guys are doing that, how do you kind of choose whether to, I guess, let the song serve itself and then having that extra ambiance of putting in the symphonic element?
Well, as far as like the stuff I write, I guess I kind of write the song first, and then as I'm listening to it over and over again while writing stuff, I can hear whether or not I want any of the strings or whatnot. And then once I program that, I can kind of lead it into the rest of the song, and it's all about just listening to it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine by that point, this is something I think people don't really think about when they're hearing stuff for the first time. By that time, you guys have heard everything like 1,000 times over, and you're going to hear it 1,000 more times over because you're going to have to play it every night.
Right?
So for you guys, it's like you're already beating the dead horse with the song.
Yeah, no, like it's funny, like the World War X, the song that's the next video that's going to come out. I've been like Scott, me have been listening to that for now probably like 9 months.
Damn.
Done. So I mean, then we like that was when we like did the final arrangement and all that stuff like that. So we've been listening to it for a long time already. So like Scott said, it's like telling a joke and then waiting 2 years for everybody to see if everybody laughs.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other cool thing is like in between that time, you guys put out that EP, and I think that is such an excellent idea in this current, I guess, age of, digital media and everything, because people are so quick to move on and forget about bands and be like, when are you going to put out new stuff? That if you put out an EP like that, it keeps it fresh in their minds. It gets them hyped up for new stuff. And it's a good way to kind of bridge the gap from, the last record to writing new stuff to the next record. And I think more bands kind of need to do that nowadays.
Yeah, those are exactly the reasons why we did it. We wanted to, kind of remind everybody that we are working on new stuff and give them a taste of what the new record, is going to sound like, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was. I think a lot of bands, and that was another thing. It was like a lot of people it's like, yeah, you have a lot of artists just dropping their whole albums without any warning. And we did that with Bury Me in Blasphemy EP. We just, dropped it.
Yeah. I think that's another thing bands should do instead of putting out like half the record before it's even out, which I get, you kind of have to do to build that hype up. But
yeah,
there's been a few bands where they've just surprise released a record and it's like, oh shit, like where did that come from?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we like to, we give people a chance to pre-order bundles and stuff. So we're not into just dropping a whole entire album.
Yeah.
Without any warning. So
I didn't ask Fred this. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I'll probably ask you and Scott this. How did you guys choose the cover songs to do on that EP? Some interesting choices on there.
Oh, I think we did Heretic Anthem because we were playing that live.
Yes.
We decided to play that live at Warped Tour. So, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're gonna put that on an album?" And we're just like, "No." But when we decided to do this EP, we're like, "Okay, we'll put a couple covers. We can do Heretic Anthem because people have been asking for it." And then I think Scott wanted to do a Nine Inch Nails song, and I think I just came up with Head Like a Hole, just because it's got that pretty driving chorus, and it's a popular song. And so, and I had some ideas on how to make it heavier so that it wouldn't sound like a pop song, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's a good song to do because even that main guitar riff in that song is pretty fucking nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But also too, like, if I'm not mistaken, when I saw you guys last, Heretic Anthem was going over extremely well. Like people were like super stoked when you guys played it, and one thing about cover songs is there's a fine line, like where they're, you do the song justice. You make it sound a little bit better, or it just sounds like complete garbage compared to the original. And I think that you guys did Heretic Anthem complete justice.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you. Like Slipknot has been a huge influence on this band, ever since the beginning.
Yeah.
So we were pretty stoked to be able to play it live, and since they have been a huge influence, we tried to take as much care as possible into doing it justice.
It's hard, man, because like I love cover songs. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is no slight against Between the Buried and Me, but their whole cover album is it's probably the worst covers I've ever heard of all those songs. Every single one on there. I don't get it because they're such a good, talented band and they couldn't do justice to any of those songs. I don't get it. But
there's a fine line between.
That's kind of what I was. Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. And again, like the choice in picking the songs is always another kind of added layer, because I think you can pick like an obscure Nine Inch Nails song, but is anybody really gonna know that song? Is it just gonna be like,
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I did sound at the Jumping Turtle in San Marcos. It's not there anymore, but anyway, I did a sound there, and there was this cover band night, and it was a Bad Religion cover band, and they have some really popular songs that a lot of people are into. They didn't play any song that I even recognized. It was like it was all B-sides, and I'm just like, come on, man.
Wow.
I was just like, who's coming to this show going, yeah, I really want to hear that okay song as opposed to the really catchy song.
Yep. So, yeah, you got to do the popular songs, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can do some of the obscure stuff, but it's like you got to at least give them the hits.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's the same thing when we play our own music. We can throw in a song that is not as popular, but you can totally tell that the crowd does not know that song very well. Crowd reaction tells all.
Yeah. Oh my God, it really does, and that's the unfortunate thing too. Is like I can't, I've only seen it sort of from the outside, but like for you guys being on stage and like playing a song that you guys love to play, or put a lot of work into, and just seeing the crowd not give a flying fuck has to be probably one of the hardest things to experience.
Yeah, it's rough. It's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
When we that's why like we don't play songs that we haven't released yet live, because nobody knows the song. So
do you think that once the record's out a little bit and you start hearing people be like, oh, why aren't you going to play this song off the record? Is that when you kind of start formulating which songs to play off the new stuff?
I mean, kind of like if we'll look at like online plays and stuff to kind of see what songs are, very popular after the release. But I mean, since we've already been listening to the album, we already kind of know which songs we really want to play live.
Yeah. Which is important.
Already know which ones the crowd's going to kind of, or our fans are going to, the majority are going to gravitate to.
Yeah, and especially that Summer Slaughter lineup is so eclectic. I think that your guys' music has such a good range that you can pretty much play anything and appease every single person that night.
Yeah, no, and that's why we like the death metal, and we like the black metal, and we like the breakdowns. So that's kind of metal in general.
So getting back to World War X real quick, because I kind of got off track there a little bit.
Yeah.
But with like writing and going in to start recording it, Fred kind of briefly mentioned that like Scott was kind of off doing his own thing with the dude from Anal Nathrak, and then the rest of you guys are with Sukoff. So what was it like from your experience working with Sukoff and recording everything?
I mean, working with Jason is great. I love him. He has a lot of good ideas. He has a lot of bad ideas. He has a lot of ideas. So, I mean, when you're working with somebody recording an album, it's much better to work with somebody with a lot of ideas as opposed to somebody who's like, that sounds great to everything.
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of in an echo chamber, and nobody, I feel like if working with Jason, he brings out the best possible versions of the songs that he can. So yeah, he always has suggestions for when I'm playing songs for drumming, like, hey, why don't you do this? And sometimes like a lot of his suggestions are cool. Sometimes he suggested things that I don't have enough limbs to do, so I'll just tell him like, yeah, that can't happen. So I don't know. I only have 2 arms.
Which I would have to think that, having that kind of extra outside input and, being able to remove yourself a little bit from the song in order to tweak it a little bit and make it a little bit better has to be beneficial as musicians and, kind of pushing everything forward. Yeah,
totally. Like, you just like a lot. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes some musicians they can't take criticism, constructive criticism. They're like, they just feel like, oh, well, whatever I wrote is the best.
Yeah.
The best version. You're not going to make it better. So we always go into the studio or the writing with, here's what I got. I like what I have, but can you hopefully you can make it better,
Yeah, I think that's a good mentality to have because, then it's kind of like iron sharpens iron. You're going to gain some knowledge off that input. And then the next thing that you do is going to be even better. It's just like progression, man. And I think that's a good mindset to have with recording and, writing music.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Scott he recorded the vocals with Mick. And, that was good for him because usually at the end of our recording, he's the last one to record, and we're usually out of time.
Yeah.
By the time he starts recording, so he always has to do all his vocals in like 3 days, and he doesn't get to spend time on anything. So this time he got to, while we were actually recording the album, he was in with Mick doing working on a song a day. Reworking it. Like he'd go back and record stuff. Saying he could go back and do takes that he didn't redo takes that he didn't feel were as strong as he could do it.
Damn. So that's really cool.
Yeah. So Scott was definitely, I mean, I'm speculating, I guess, but I think he was definitely happy with this recording experience, like this version.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause you guys have typically not been rushed, but you've done things a lot different, I assume, like recording.
Yeah.
In the past.
Yeah. I mean, because time's money.
Yeah.
Like last for Slow Death and Die Without Hope, we were all out in Florida, and we had to rent a place to stay, and that that costs a bunch of money.
Yeah.
The recording costs a bunch of money. So and when you're traveling out there, you can't just get out there and go, okay, well, whenever this is finished, we'll leave. Like you have a deadline. Mm-hmm. so that's the whole thing with that. And then our previously when we were on the last label doing Hell Chose Me and Dead and The Disease and the Poison and Until I Feel Nothing, we had a much smaller recording budget. So that made it the recording time even shorter.
Yeah. The old dark victory days.
Oh God.
But I mean,
didn't want to say the name.
It's cool. Oh yeah, shit, you're right. I guess when I was talking to Fred, I said the V days. I didn't.
The V days. Yeah.
But I mean, the good thing about having more time, and being able to record is, you get a more authentic product. Not that you guys put out anything inauthentic, but it comes across in the music when you can take that time and have less stress, and you can actually perfect the things that you guys have been working on for 2+ years.
Yeah. No, it's definitely nice not to have to really worry about shit. We have to get this done because now we only have 5 days to record guitars, the bass, drums, and get it mixed and mastered.
So how long did you take to record all your drum stuff?
This album I actually didn't go out I didn't go out there. I programmed everything.
Oh, okay.
So how that worked was Jason recorded me for Slow Death. So, and we did all the sampling for Slow Death, and those are all the samples that we used on. Those are all the hits that we used on Slow Death. So I sat here and I recorded every single little thing, or I programmed every single little thing that I'd play here on my practice kit. So, and then I sent it to him.
So it's still your drums. It's just a sample of a previous recording.
Well, yeah, and like most recordings today, everything's replaced anyway. So, there's very, very few bigger bands that are using the raw. Here's what we recorded. This is raw.
Yeah, I've seen this brought up a couple times in various discussions where it's like, they're not actually recording the drums, fakes, phonies. Like, what do you kind of feel about that? Because like I don't think it matters on a record. It only matters live.
My opinion is come see us live.
Yeah.
So, and that it's like, if I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna record anything that I can't play live. So
yeah, and I don't think that everything on the record needs to sound pristine and perfected to the point where it's just like no mistakes or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we live in a world where people want to hear a perfect record. They do, and so, and unfortunately, not everybody has the time to sit there in the studio and play it over and over and over again until they get it right.
I mean, that's the biggest thing about playing an instrument is how much you fuck up while playing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's not how it's how well you recover from fucking up.
True. That's true.
So, yeah, like, a lot of times I'll ask Diana, I'm like, how'd it sound? And she'd be like, there was a part where you stopped playing some cymbals for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. So, it's like, but other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, man, I tried learning drums once. I think I might have told you this a long time ago. I got really inspired by Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel, and I was reading a book, and I heard that he just he went in his basement and he would just teach himself how to play drums until he passed out. And I was like, man, I think I could do that. Like, just fucking beat on stuff until I pass out. No, that's not how it works. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, you have to have a real like burning desire to play drums.
Yeah, and not only that, like, I don't really have a concept of rhythm on a drum set. Like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. So when I was playing, like, the one thing I can say that I kind of learned was one of the drum parts from Despise Icons' Sunset Will Never Charm Us. That dan. Like, I learned that, and that was cool. But other than that, I couldn't fucking double kick or even like single kick in time with everything. It was fucking hard.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem if you're into like heavy metal or death metal. Learning drums, that's not where you can start.
Stamina. It's all stamina.
Yeah, you're like you kind of have to start with like radio rock stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, drums. You have to have a really real, like, you can't stop thinking about it, kind of feeling about it.
So we kind of touched on this before I started recording, so we'll circle back around to it. But with the single that you guys have out already, you guys have Alissa from Arch Enemy in the song, and there's also another guest artist on the record. How did you guys choose to put these people on the record? Because you've done it before, right?
No, we've tried to.
Okay,
we've tried to.
So this is the first record you guys have had guests on it.
Yeah, like last album, Slow Death, we were trying to get somebody to be on it, but it just didn't work out because So this time we Scott had the idea to get a female vocalist to be one of the vocalists. We were supposed to have somebody else as well be on a different song, another vocalist, but that didn't work out as well.
Bummer.
So a lot of there's a lot of if you want something done, you have to do it yourself in the music industry.
Yeah.
So if you don't have control of something, then it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think, the logistics too of getting that person to take the time out of whatever they're doing to do something for you guys is also just a fucking pain in the ass, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely work. It's not easy. But Scott had the idea to have a female vocalist. We hit up a few vocalists, and Alissa seemed to be the one. She seemed to be the most into it. So I'll let Scott was the one who really orchestrated it. So
okay.
I'll let him talk about all that stuff. But Alissa, she was great. Like, she's super professional, super nice. She really did a great job on the song. We kind of gave it to her, and with the lyrics, and I think we gave her the demo with Scott's vocals on it.
Oh, nice.
And then she came up with all the vocal, harmonies and melodies and stuff like that on her own. She recorded, I think she recorded way more stuff than we needed, just, so.
Coverage.
Yeah.
That's what they call that in the movie industry.
So it'd be as good as possible. Like, it was nice having, like, working with somebody who was into it as much as us.
Yeah.
Who she wanted the best possible version of it, just like we did.
And I mean, going as far as to actually get her in the music video too, that's surprising.
That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work, and Scott will tell you all about it.
Okay.
Because he did
it. That's cool though. I mean, you guys shot in the fucking desert. I bet that was brutal.
Yeah, it was. It could have been worse. It was in the spring, so it wasn't hot. It was just super, super windy, and all the sand out there is really, really fine. So it would just build up on and in everything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You guys are probably still pouring sand out of everything.
Dude, there's so much sand in my drum set. It was ridiculous. I mean, luckily after that video, I got to take everything apart because I had it all powder coated in black.
Mm-hmm.
So I took everything apart and was able to clean it. So I got all the sand out of it, but there was a lot. Then my carpet that my drum set was on, dude, that probably had like 20 pounds of sand in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, every time I pulled it out, I would dust more sand out of it for probably like 2 weeks.
Oh man, that's good though. That's a good story. I mean, just like the hilarity of all the sand and everything.
Oh man, yeah. And when we were filming, they had me set up on one. There was this parking lot basically, and then on either side were all the dunes. It was kind of like a cul-de-sac, a long one. So they set me up on one side, and we got all set up. Then they looked at it, and they looked at the sun and everything, and then they decided to move it to the other side. Oh
man!
So I think we had to haul my drum set like 200 yards to the other side on the sand. Oh my gosh, that was annoying.
I mean, it's got to be nice to also have more of a budget to do music videos, even though it's sort of, I don't want to say it's a dying art form, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be, like 20 years ago, let's say, when MTV was dominating everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the music videos, like, luckily, Nuclear Blast realizes the value of them
Mm-hmm.
to promote an album. Because when we were with Victory, they they would never ever allow us to do music videos until after the album was out.
Yeah, which is stupid.
You know, it's dumb. Um, it's really dumb because like the music video is a huge tool in promoting the album. You know, because like I said, people are they're gonna click on a music video as opposed to just a song. You know.
Yeah.
And while they'll watch the whole music video and pay attention to the song as opposed to, clicking on the song and probably doing something else, not really paying attention.
Yeah, that's something I've done a lot lately. It's like when I'm trying to check out like older bands, if they have a music video, I'll watch that first.
Mm-hmm.
And then like go check out the other stuff. But I think it's especially with older stuff because like I missed a whole generations worth of music and music videos, so it's cool going back and checking that stuff out. But even with like modern era stuff, it feels like a lost art form in some respects. So when bands actually put out a cool music video, it's like, oh fuck yeah, of course I want to watch that.
Yeah, totally. It's it also helps perpetuate the imagery that we use on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge factor in wanting to do as many music videos as possible.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah, it's like on our previous albums with Victory. I think on for The Disease and the Poison, we had one music video.
Yeah, I think
it was one, and then that Hell Chose Me. The only reason we had two music videos is because we shot them in the same day.
Were they the live ones, or am I thinking of something else?
It was Hell Chose Me and Sorrow Spell.
Oh,
we
yeah.
shot those videos the same day.
Jesus.
I think I played Sorrow Spell like 30 times, and then I played Hell Chose Me like 30 times.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was so dead. When Diana picked me up, she was my girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
She picked me up at the end of the shoot. It was like 10 p.m. or something like that. I think I sat in the passenger seat, and then I think she said I immediately fell asleep. And we drove home 2 hours to San Diego.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is grueling. Like I can't imagine. It would have been like running a marathon, basically.
Yeah, we were there at like I think 6 a.m.
Oof.
Yeah.
So. And you guys aren't even getting paid.
Yes. Yeah, we're paying to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, music videos, like Nuclear Blast realizes how important they are. So that's why, we did 3 music videos for Slow Death.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Dude. Yeah. And I mean, we're realizing how important they are as well. That's why, we're going to put out 2 music videos before the album's even out. And we realize how much more important the music video is as opposed to a lyric video.
Yeah, lyric videos are kind of lame now. I don't know why bands keep doing them. Because sometimes like the lyrics are fucking garbage.
Yeah, because it's cheap. They do them because it's way cheaper than doing an actual video.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we realized that if people had the choice between a lyric video and a music video, they're going to choose a music video every single time.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the videos you guys put out from Slow Death, I think it's up to like 2 million views.
What?
I think so.
Jesus.
I could have been wrong on that, but I remember like looking through you guys' videos and I was like, holy shit, 2 million? Let me check that real quick because I was like, fucking. It's a nice thing I can edit all this shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Die Without Hope, 2.3 million views.
Damn.
Crazy, right?
Damn. That's sick.
Now, see, that's the weird thing is like, wouldn't that be great if that transferred to fucking record sales in this day and age?
Yeah, right.
Man,
totally. That's
the weird disconnect that I'm still kind of like lost on, is when you see all these like streaming numbers and, you know, video views, and you guys are seeing like less than 1% of that in sales.
Oh, guess how much we've actually gotten from that? 0.
Yeah, nothing. No.
So I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think that revenue goes to the label or something. I don't know. So, but you know, whatever. That's the reason why going to see bands live. That's the reason why our live show is so important to us. You know, is because that's where people are going to see us. That's where new fans are going to be made. That's where, you know, it's where I get to pay my bills. It's how I get to pay my bills.
Is that something you guys have noticed over the years too? You know, because you guys have kind of changed styles a lot and, you know, progressed over the years. Have you actually seen that like division in fans where it's like, yeah, I only care about these records and not the early stuff, and then, you know, the fans that only care about the early stuff and not the new stuff? Or is it a good cohesion of like everybody likes everything?
I think it's a good, like the people that go to our shows, the fans that go to the shows, it's a good cohesion. A lot of people like the old records. A lot of people, you know, like the new stuff. And, you know, we've kind of kept, it's like if you hear our new records or our newer stuff, you can tell that it's the same band.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't sound exactly the same, but you know, you can tell it's us.
I agree.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I think that we have a lot of people that like all the records, you know, and what I've noticed is that when somebody's favorite album is usually the album that they discovered the band on, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
It is, because when I see people are like, oh, The Disease of the Poison is my favorite album. I'm just like, good God. Like, it can't be. I'm like, yes, I don't think it's the best album, but it's probably the album that they discovered us on. So they have that emotional connection to all the songs, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. I think those nostalgia goggles are kind of hard to let go of.
They so are, you know. That's why most of the, you know, it's a joke that their first album is the best.
Yeah, right.
It's like, no, that was the first album you heard, and that's the one you like. So,
well, you know,
I mean, sometimes a band's first album is their best, but
sometimes, yeah. I mean, I definitely have bands where I think that 100%. Like Black Dahlia Murder, I think Unhallowed is their best album to me. That and probably Ritual. Yeah, those are my two favorites. But I mean, you know, the band's had so many different lineup changes that it's hard to pin down each record because they all sound different. Yeah, no,
I love the Black Dahlia Murder a lot. Like I like Nocturnal's one of my favorite albums. Mm-hmm. You know, Deflorate's definitely up there. I think for me, I mean, because I'm on tour all the time and I don't get a chance to check out every band's, you know, album. Yeah. All the time. I feel like for me, they put out albums a little too close together.
Yeah, I think they're already about to put out another album, or they're working on it, and it's like, yeah, the last one just came out not too long ago. It's like, fuck.
God, it must be nice. It must be nice to be able to write that much music all the time.
Fucking riff machines, man.
Serious. Brian's an animal.
Yeah. So I guess we're coming up on an hour here, so I'll start to like wind down and close out. Mm-hmm. And one thing I've been, I guess, I like to ask lately with people is, you know, what's something that you think people kind of underestimate about your music? Because there's a lot of different aspects and facets to everything you guys do that maybe not everybody realizes and kind of takes for granted. So I kind of like to, I know it's a hard question. I've stumped so many people with it.
Oh, it's not hard for me. What's the actual question again?
Oh, what do you think is something that people underestimate about the music?
Okay. the biggest thing that like bothers me in comment sections is when I see somebody comment and they're commenting like we're the same band from that is like from 2007. Like they underestimate how much we've progressed since those first two albums.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh yeah, it's fucking chug chug brie brie. I'm just like, dude, you don't even know what's happening.
I know you can't see me, but I just shook my head so hard at that. It's like, fucking, you're not wrong. I've definitely seen those comments too, and I was like, those are the people that's what's wrong with a lot of metal and music, is people won't even give stuff a chance. They're so stuck with a certain aspect of things in their head. You're just like,
dude, you're talking about album 1 and 2. You know we're on album 7, right?
Yeah. Man, it's so crazy.
We're on album 7. We're headlining Summer Slaughter. There's got to be something different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the case in point, the track that you guys have put out already for the record is so fucking different from anything else that you guys have done. I mean, I don't see how anybody could listen to that and think, oh yeah, this sounds just like Dead in My Arms.
Yeah. Oh yeah, chug chug. Yeah, man.
Even like the quote unquote breakdown in that song, which I wouldn't even call it that, it lasts for like 15 seconds. It's just like a nice little like chuggy part. I don't know.
Yeah. Groove. Yeah, and for those of you who think we don't have any more breakdowns, just wait till you hear the album.
Yeah.
We got some heavy shit.
Yeah, and I think you got to appease everybody. So it's and again, like I said at the beginning, like there's nothing wrong with breakdowns. Everybody fucking uses them. It's a good heavy thing to have in the music.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to use them to make the song heavier, not as the song.
Yes, exactly.
So, well, I mean, that's how we use them. We use them to accent the song to make it, a heavier part. So, but yeah, we're a fan of, fans of black metal. We're fans, the Black Dahlia Murder was a huge influence on us. Yeah. I was listening to Unhallowed and Miasma writing our first demos and stuff like that. So, they have some awesome like melodic death metal going on. So, that is a huge influence on us. We like the melody, all the sorrowful sounding tunes, and then we, like the kick in the teeth with the breakdowns.
See, that's why I kind of asked at the beginning, those influences and things that started you off, because it's that kind of coalesce, moments of everything that you've heard or listened to that makes what you guys are. And it's like the history of all those genres kind of coming together. And I think that's what makes good music good, is having all those things kind of form into something new. Mm-hmm. And that's totally where we are.
Absolutely. It's they're called influences. Yeah. For a reason.
Yeah.
You're supposed to take those things and make them your own.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, fuck yeah, Shawn. Yeah. World War X, August 2nd. Not World War 10.
August 2nd. It's out August 2nd. So, and if you pre-order it, you'll be able to get it early.
Yes.
I think.
What's funny is I actually might get a promo copy of it, because I am on Nuclear Blast's promo list.
Sick.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so let me know. I can hook you up with that Dropbox link.
All right. I'll see. Yeah, I'll see if I get an email here in the next month or so.
All right.
Let's see. So when does Summer Slaughter start, actually?
It starts for us. Our first show is July 19th in Salt Lake City. It's only it's not the whole Summer Slaughter lineup, because all the bands on it are routing out to Summer Slaughter, which starts in Denver on the 20th of July. So yeah, it's Cattle Decapitation, Carnifex, the Faceless, and Necrogoblicon, and then I'm sure they're gonna have local bands on it. So
yes, the local jokels.
So July 20th is the first date. Starts in Denver. The last date is August 16th in Los Angeles.
Nice. Man, I remember doing Summer Slaughter almost 10 years ago with you guys, and that was brutal because of the heat and all those outside merch setups.
Oh, man.
Fucking shot.
No, dude, outside merch setups, talk about Warped Tour.
Ugh.
Good God.
I know. It's even worse. I feel bad for Diana.
We did Warped Tour in a van and trailer, and so we were hanging out outside all day, every day. Let me tell you something. The rest of the U.S. sucks.
Yeah.
California is like bearable in the summer, but everywhere else is just, good God.
It's pretty hot out here, which I did miss. But
where are you at now?
I'm back in Tennessee now.
Okay.
But man, let me tell you what, I miss California so much. I just wish it wasn't so expensive to live there.
Oh God,
I'd be back there in a heartbeat.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss paying $1,000 to rent a fucking room.
Jesus, yeah.
Bay Area rent.
Oh man, yeah. My sister, her and her family lived in the Bay Area, and they made like way more money than they were making before, but they couldn't save any money because everything costed so much.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So they moved back to South Bend, Indiana.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have a friend who lives up in that area.
Nice. Yeah. When we play Chicago, I guess she usually tries to come to shows.
It's cool. Yeah, because I mean, you know, that was the nice thing about touring, man, is like meeting people all over the place, and I think that's the one thing I'm most thankful for, is like still being like vaguely in touch with a lot of those people every now and then, and hitting them up. Yeah,
it definitely opens your eyes to the rest of the world, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting out of the hometown and like seeing how other people live, like how other people interact, meeting people who are not from where you're from.
Yeah.
It gives you a different perspective on everything.
We have definitely met some very, very interesting and cool people and weird people.
Yeah.
Well, fuck yeah, Shawn. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Dustin.
I will. I'll let you guys know when Carnifex week happens, and
totally.
you guys will already be on Summer Slaughter at that point, I'm sure. So I don't know how much time you guys will have to share everything, but it's no big deal.
Oh, we'll be able to share everything. Just let me see. Yeah, I guess, are you just going to do it the week before the album comes out?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, kind of build up to the record releases, do it that week before.
Totally. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll definitely like be able to share everything and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to put together like a bunch of art for it and kind of hype it up the week before the actual episodes go up, so that way people are aware of it, and put it in all my episodes. I think it'll work out. It's crazy how much this. Actually, hang on. I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!